Oh, no, this is part of the equipment. I almost skipped this out of habit. Alright, do-it-yourself device. Wow, this cathode is really lovely! What makes you think that? It's not pretty at all, no matter how you stretch it. No, I really do think it's lovely. You only use stuff from around here to build this, right? I think things built from items close to hand have a very unique beauty to them. Maybe that was a little too audacious of me? No, not at all. To be honest, I'm a little moved. Delta and Cass called it junk, so I was prepared for you to say that too. Thank you for saying something so nice, Yanasol. I just said what I was thinking. But it really is amazing that you made this stuff from around here, just from stuff around here. Now, how is it in regards to safety and performance? There's no problem whatsoever with either of those. The do-it-yourself device may appear bad, but its performance and stability are higher than ordinary ones sold at shops. Some parts may be rusted, but it only shows the ones that aren't affected by that, and they're still reliable. It was fun searching through this pile for the right parts, wasn't it? I can't hide anything from you, Yanasol. You're right, I was quite engrossed. So, feels like you're searching for treasure, right? It's not a feeling. It's not a feeling. I think it really is like searching for treasure. Most of the stuff wouldn't be usable or suitable for the project. Yes, the process of digging through parts one by one really was like excavating for treasure. And that exciting feeling when finding the right part can't be expressed with words. That's the fun of using items at hand to build things. Alright, now for the super painful cathode. Ah! This is for adults only! Yanasol, you're an adult. Your reaction is just painful to watch. But I'm not really accustomed to things like this. Also, I don't really understand why you included pictures of girls with a figure of Shiotaka. I was just expressing how popular Shiotaka is. Also, this is a cathode, not a figure. Did you not see the terminals protruding from it? Huh? Oh, you're right. I didn't notice them at all. It's pretty unusual for you to not notice something related to machines. Its appearance was just too much, so I couldn't notice. But why design it like this? There wouldn't have been a problem if you made it a little simpler. Well, I have various reasons. First of all, I wanted to make a cathode that was a little unusual. That's why I made it into this shape. So you couldn't resist your curiosity. Curiosity is essential when it comes to creating new things. Next, this design looks fairly painful, doesn't it? Well, Yan's reaction earlier was more painful. See, Yanasol? He's saying the same thing I did. I'll be more careful. Yes, you should. Anyway, while it might not be on the level of Yanasol, this design is still painful. Just as this design is painful to look at, it enhances weapons to greatly increase their power. In other words, you can cause physical pain to your enemy. Are you saying you made this as a joke? I simply made its appearance reflect its effect. I understand now that you explained it, but I doubt anyone would get it otherwise. And I think that's all that needs to be said about that. Brain Synapses, one of the better items in the game. Still looks like one of those cool plasma balls. You're looking at this pretty seriously. Is something about it bothering you? It's not really bothering me, but I just don't get this cathode no matter how much I think about it. It appears to be a toy, and it runs static electricity in you when you touch, but I also get the feeling there's more amazing technology used in this. I see. Yanasol, do you know much about neuroscience? No, pretty much zero. Does that mean I can't understand this without some knowledge about that? I suppose. This brain synapses relates to brain cell synapses and homologous chromosomes, among other things. If you're interested, I could lend you a reference book. Do you want it? Yeah, if you're willing to let me borrow it, I'd love to read it. You have quite a lot of intellectual curiosity, so it's nice to talk with you, Yanasol. Like a certain couple who decided to flee. Yeah, that's exciting to learn new things. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you use them, it's just fun to learn about and know new things. You can learn about how things work and practical applications for things you never thought of before. You begin to question ways they can interact with other things and expand your knowledge even further. Yeah, the more you know, the more you want to know. Do you ever have trouble deciding what to try next? I feel as though we could go on endlessly about this topic. And entanglement device. Not as cool as the brain synapses, but oh well. This cathode looked pretty cool. It might be nice to use as a necklace. Now that you mention it, that could work, but you should use this as a cathode. It's far superior for enhancing weapons compared to previous cathodes. So not only does it look cool, but its performance is amazing too. Yes, I could explain what effect it uses to enhance weapons, but do you know much about quantum mechanics, Yanasol? I know a decent amount, I think. It's all self-study though, so maybe I don't really know much. I see. I call this cathode the entanglement device. Does that ring any bells for you? Oh, I know. Entanglement refers to, so, changes in quantum state of particles. Was it? If I recall, it was a condition where quantum states are tangled together and connected. That's right. Okay, so I got it wrong. But it's still worthy of commendation that you knew it had to do with quantum states of particles. So the fact that you put entanglement in the name means this is affected by... at the end. So the fact that you put entanglement in the name means it's affected by tangled particles, right? Yes, that's correct. However, regarding that, I don't think even you would understand it if I explained it in detail. Is that difficult? It is. Explaining it would take a frighteningly long time. It could seriously take until tomorrow morning to finish. Do you still want to listen? I'm interested, but I'll pass for now. I'm sure there'll be lots of terms I don't understand. I'll wait until I study and learn them some more first. And that gives us time to jump right into the next one. Alright, Colonia Cathode. Wow, this is you in Automa. This brings back memories. It seems you still remember it. It was a long time ago, so I thought you would have forgotten. I wouldn't do that. I still remember it perfectly fine. It really is nostalgic. I'll look at this every day and think about Rossiella. I don't mind that, but this is a cathode called the Colonia Cathode. So I would prefer it if you use it as a cathode rather than just stare at it all the time. Its performance is also an order of magnitude higher than those before it. Wait, this was a cathode? It didn't look like it at all. I'm sure. To be honest, it seems I put far too much effort into replicating Yumi Automa. But it looks really cool, so that's fine. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a lovely cathode. It fits the name of the recipe. I feel better now that you say that. Just like you, I was feeling nostalgia while looking at the name of the recipe. In fact, I'm happy enough knowing that you feel nostalgic as I do when looking at this. Although I would be even happier when you see how much more powerful it makes you weapons. I already have my expectations regarding that, so don't worry. I see. This cathode is full of a lot of memories. I hope that it's of use to you. Well, it's still equipped, so it's quite nice. Quite handy. Wow, you're pushing this foundation past its limit by cooling it, right? Yes, you seem familiar with this. Overclocking things is really fun. But how are you cooling it? I don't even see a heatsink on here. I'm using a Peltier device. You see the thing on top of the foundation? This is a Peltier device? It shouldn't be possible to get such a low temperature. Normally, yes. However, I modified this Peltier device to reach a low temperature like this. Be careful not to touch it. You'd have frostbite in no time. In that case, you should at least cover it with something. You can use it to stop ice cream from melting. Is performance any good? Didn't you hear Yanasol earlier? By lowering the temperature, it's possible to push it past its limit. This might have been a commonly available item, but it's improved into something completely different. The regular... I can't say that. The regularly sold items are unexpectedly stable. I'm a little more interested now. I also have one warning about this. You should be careful not to use this in cold areas. While it protects the body, it also has a cooling effect on the body as well. How much cooling are we talking about? You might shiver a little on a hot day under the blazing sun. That's why on a cold day, there's danger of freezing to death while using this. There's something wrong about RNA that could kill you if you make one little mistake. And yet, that's not the first time! Nor will it be the last! I've seen this device and hoses on top of this foundation somewhere before. I'm sure you have, but there aren't many people who can realize what this is. Oh, I know! This is a device attached to the backs of spacesuits! Or so I thought, but I suppose I should have expected this from the Yanasol. If you know what this device is, do you have an idea what this does? Well, yeah, well, you see... No, on second thought, wait. I'm sure you'll get the right answer, so maybe we should have our friend here try answering first. That might be best. I'm curious what your answer will be anyway. So, it gives you the same functions as the spacesuit. Yeah, that's the only answer. Were you right, Sarly? Yes, that's correct. This mRNA is an RNA that gives your body some of the various functions of a spacesuit. So, it isn't all of them? I was guessing it would be pretty hard to allow you to travel out into space without any gear anyway. I originally wanted to do that, but it turned out to be impossible. Still, I doubt you'd ever need to spacewalk outside the Soleil, so you wouldn't have use for that. But I would have been happy. Instead, it still has the function of providing protection from cosmic rays, space debris, and space dust. Of course, it still can't provide total protection against debris. That can't be helped. Even a tiny little fragment has the power to put a hole through a satellite. Still, you made it as strong as possible to protect the body, right? Yes, while it can't completely stop attacks, it can reduce the enemy's attack power considerably. I think it's more than enough use inside the Soleil, so make use of it. Whew. That was actually a mouthful. Alright, Iron Mass Transformer. Should I do a Darth Vader voice for this one? I keep thinking to do that. Is this an Iron Mask on top of this foundation? That's right, I call this RNA the Iron Mask Transformer. Isn't the name perfect for its appearance? Does it mean it lets you transform? I never thought you would say the same thing as Delta. Sorry, but this has no transformation functions. I didn't create this for children. But you called it Transformer. It doesn't transform you like putting on an iron mask. Instead, it makes your entire body as hard as iron. Sounds like it'll slow you down. I see. Since it makes your whole body as hard as iron, your joints would harden too, right? There's no need to worry. If you really think I'd give you a defective item like that, it may harden your entire body like iron, but your joints can still bend. You don't feel any weight change. Explaining the principles behind why this occurs would take a long time. Regardless, the performance of this RNA is quite excellent, though it should reduce damage from ordinary enemies. I would expect that. It's iron, after all. Oh, but does that mean it would be weak to heat? If you were exposed to high enough temperature to melt iron, you wouldn't go unscathed regardless. The thing you need to be careful of are scissor-like squeezing and bending type attacks, as well as rapiers and hammers, but that's another series entirely. Other than those attack types, this will provide an iron defense. I can imagine scissors squeezing things, but I wonder what a bending type attack would be. Perhaps a large blunt weapon. If something like that were to hit you, your body would bend to be crushed. I shouldn't have asked. Yeah, some things you just don't want to think about. Okay, amoeba RNA. Wow, this is interesting. It's all squishy and feels nice. Be honest, Saul, you're okay around things like this? I read in a book that normally women think of things like this as gross. Do you think it's gross, Sarly? No, I don't feel that way. In fact, I rather like it. Right? So that just means the book was wrong. More importantly, I've been curious about the frame this is in. It's the foundation, right? Yes, I'm glad you noticed. This might be hard to believe from its appearance, but this is RNA, called the amoeba RNA. This is RNA? Doesn't look like it would function properly. The amoeba inside the frame is quite special and functions much like an ordinary foundation. Also, I think you'll be quite surprised to hear the effect this RNA has. So, does it turn your body into an amoeba? I don't think that's possible, is it? It would be amazing if it did that, but that just sounds too unreasonable. Well, I suppose it's only natural to think that way, but be honest, Saul, he was actually correct. What? By turning your body into an amoeba, you can go uninjured regardless of receiving various physical attacks. That explanation should cover it. Be honest, Saul, do you understand now? What? This really turns your body into an amoeba? I like that you always seem to react the way I want you to, be honest, Saul. Delta and Cass just kept complaining about how it would be gross or sticky and went on and on. But it really is amazing to turn your body into an amoeba. It's really possible to do that? I thought it was impossible at first, but after repeating various trials and errors, I finally had a good idea. The important part was to use the frame of a foundation, and it seems nobody realized this before. I'd like to hear about this story when we have more time to talk. But if your body was an amoeba and anything was to hit your body with an attack, it would naturally just pass right through. It wouldn't be different from cutting, shooting, or punching water. It wouldn't matter how large the sword was. It would pass through your body with no resistance, causing no injury. But, can you maintain the shape of your body? Now that you mention it, wouldn't your body turn into a puddle the moment it turned into an amoeba? You don't need to worry about that. I built this so that even though your body is an amoeba, you won't lose form and collapse into a puddle. If it didn't do that, you wouldn't be able to do anything after changing. Oh, but even if it's not possible to be injured as an amoeba, your sense of pain will still remain, so be careful. Just so you know, the pain from being sliced in half isn't even comparable to a simple little cut. I didn't think you would save the most worrying part for the very end. Yeah, that was actually a very long part of the conversation with Delta and Cass. Alright, ectoplasman. That's a cool name to say. Wow, looks like I would need insulated gloves to touch this. I'm glad you realized that just by looking. That's right, you wouldn't go unscathed if you touched the plasma. Why don't you make it safer by closing it in a case? I thought of that, but this is RNA, and this is RNA, and this is still the foundation. I think foundations need to be out in the open to look good. Yeah, you're right, Sarly. That was my mistake. I forgot because it doesn't look like a normal foundation, but this is just a different type, right? In that case, it really would look bad with a case. Coolness and romance in foundations require them to be open and visible. Anyway, we're off topic. I should explain what this RNA does when equipped. Be honest, Saul, do you know what ectoplasm is? Are you talking about the ectoplasm that appears in occult stories? Yes, the most popular depictions are as smoke-like substances oozing from mouths or as disembodied souls. When I first saw it, I never even dreamed that I could replicate it with RNA, yet I still made this. I'm curious where you saw it. Anyway, using this RNA turns your body into ectoplasm, and enemy attacks will pass through harmlessly. So, it would be dangerous if you were exercised. What are you talking about? There's no possible way an unscientific thing like exorcism would work. Besides, if someone tried to start exercising you, they'd be full of openings. The perfect time to strike. Is it just me, or is ectoplasm a pretty unscientific thing too? Regardless, even if you use this to turn into ectoplasm, you're still a living human being. While it's not as bad as becoming an amoeba, you'll still feel some pain when you're cut or struck. Your body won't be injured, but just think of the pain as evidence that you're still living. Well, it might actually be relieving to feel pain while using this anyway. But if you were to use this, you don't feel pain, so you become unstoppable. Unfortunately, I couldn't test what would happen if the Avatar used this, so I'm not exactly sure. Still, I managed to prove that it has no ill effect on the human body, so it shouldn't be an issue. You should try experimenting with it and report the results to me. Are you just using him as a test subject? Pretty much, yes. Alright, memory leap. We are at the TX BIOS. Does this make you weigh more or something? No, it doesn't. Why does everyone seem to make that mistake? I know it's heavy, but it's called memory leap. It has a much different effect. So, if it doesn't make you heavy and called memory leap, so does it have to do with memories? I'm glad you understand. You're right. This memory leap uses a single memory as an access to cause one to remember other related memories. Remembering some memories is enough to enhance song magic? For example, if you start with a fun memory, you would remember various fun experiences you had in the past. Fun memories are fun regardless of when you remember them, and they raise your spirits, right? Now that you mention it, so you're saying that I'll be in a good mood for the entire time I'm singing? That's not necessarily true. You could start with an angry memory after all. What? You can't choose what kind of memory it starts with? If they were fun memories every time, you would get tired of it. Also, angry memories would be many times more powerful than fun memories when it comes to stirring up emotions. Once you remember an angry memory, you start remembering more without having to do anything. I can understand that. Anyway, I guarantee the effectiveness of this. You should try it yourself. Hope it starts with a fun memory at least. But then again, I have mentioned many times I like seeing angry Eon, but we'll just direct her anger towards the enemy at the very least. Alright, strong tube. Eonisol, do you know what's inside of this tube? Isn't this a molecular model? Yes, that's correct. I'm glad you knew at least. Hey, I'm not as smart as you, but even I know things like this. Isn't this on the level of common knowledge anyway? I feel so much better while talking with you, Eonisol. Huh? I'm just speaking to myself. More importantly, allow me to explain this. Actually, I'm sure Eonisol would just give all the correct answers, so maybe I should ask you the questions. This is like a quiz. I wish I could participate. It would be far too easy for you. Eonisol. Anyway, let's begin. There is this thing called interaction. This is a force that acts between atomic nuclei. Once stuck together, it becomes difficult to separate them. Now then, can you tell me what the formal name for this force is? I already know. So, attraction. What? I don't think that's right. Eonisol, would you care to answer instead? Okay, I'm wrong. Now, we're talking about a force within atomic nuclei. There's nuclear force, right? That's right, as expected. Back to the explanation. I built the CX BIOS to utilize the nuclear force of interaction. This causes thoughts to attach one after another into a single large thought, how atomic nuclei attract. I see. Even if you just have a bunch of little thoughts, using this they would all combine into a big one. That's correct. It's a little different from past items, but this strong tube should be quite effective. Wait, strong tube? Yes, that's the name of the CX BIOS. That doesn't seem like a name, it's just a description of what it is. I know how you feel. I didn't plan to give it a name like that at first, but ignorant people wouldn't understand without a direct name like this. Are you talking about Delta and Cass? Yes, and they still couldn't understand it well, even with a simple name like this. Maybe I should just stop trying to explain things to them. Well, if it's something you made, there shouldn't be an issue if you just said it has good performance. Sometimes you just gotta keep things that simple. Alright, Chicky Chicky Pom Pom. This is probably the most fun item to say the name of. Alright, it should work now. Wow, this looks delicious. I always get hungry after using song magic, so I'm glad this includes a snack. You probably shouldn't eat this. Without the Chicky Chicky Pom food inside here, the CX BIOS will stop functioning. Chicky Chicky Pom? That's a funny name for a fruit. Yeah, that's true, but the Chicky Chicky Pom contains special compounds that aren't another fruit. These compounds amplify thoughts. I'm surprised you found a compound like that. Dr. Clack was the one who discovered it. I simply used his information to build this. The amplification effect of each one is weak, but with this many it should make thoughts quite powerful. Then, wouldn't it have been better to use even more? Making it too long would make this hard to carry around. This was the best size for portability and power. So, why would fruit have an effect like that? You want to know why? Oh, I see. Plants like this don't exist in your world, do they? The plants of our world tend to have various special effects, and some can be used in machine parts. That reminds me. Sometimes when I pass by the flower shop, I see signs saying some of them great as cables. That's right. While they may be less durable than regular machine parts, they're easy to obtain and convenient. Anyway, this will reliably enhance your song magic, so I guarantee that it'll be useful, although you shouldn't get your expectations too high. No, that's more than enough. Even just a little bit of help eases the burden on me. More importantly, I want to try eating those Chicky Chicky Pom Pom now. Do you mind? Why does everybody add an extra pon to the end? That's fun to say, Sarly! I just said that! Alright, Leverator class. Sarly, would it be okay to uninstall the software pre-installed in the CX BIOS? Cass wanted to do the same thing. I figured you would want to as well. Nobody ever uses pre-installed software anyway, since it's bothersome to have it in there. It makes the system slower and takes up space. Sometimes they even have ads and registration pop-ups. Calm down, Eonisol. I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. But you shouldn't remove the software from the Leverator class. If you did that, it wouldn't work anymore. Leverator class? You know of Leverator, the love letter writing support software. No, I've never heard of it. Does it write love letters for you? That's right. But is that really okay? There's no point if you don't write your feelings yourself. Just like Delta, your way of thinking is far too idealistic. Besides, if you want to express your feelings, you shouldn't use a letter. You should speak to them. But confessing love to someone like that is embarrassing. That's why you send a love letter first, then use the opportunity it creates to talk to them, right? It's not like you can continuously exchange letters back and forth to each other, and that's it. That's true, but in other words, a love letter is almost like a rehearsal for a confession. First you express your intentions with the love letter, then meet with the person and confess directly. The real performance is the confession while meeting. The love letter creates that opportunity. It's almost like an ad to sell yourself to the other person. What? A love letter is like an ad? If the love letter was overly crude or a ridiculous confusing poem, would you want to meet that person? Oh, my frozen lonely heart, thawed with the sun called Cass. Cass, my heart, I love you. What about that? That wouldn't even be for me. Sounds like a love letter for Cass. Just change the Cass part to Eonisol, then think about it. I might not like it. That's a normal response. It doesn't matter how much thought was put into it. That would just be thrown away. To avoid that, this software was created to help people effectively move to a stage past a love letter. So, you might as well confess directly for going that far. Yeah, I think so too. Also, it would be pretty embarrassing to buy a love letter at a store. That means there were more people who were more embarrassed by direct confession than buying it. Anyway, enough talk about love letters. I should explain the Leverator class. You already realize that you can't exactly write a love letter while singing song magic, right? It would be impossible to write a love letter while singing during battle. That's why I modified this version of Love Raider to use song magic to express love instead. In other words, it makes you want to sing love songs. Unlike a love letter, it's better for expressing feelings. That's even more embarrassing than a confession. But I guarantee that anybody would understand how you feel upon hearing these love songs. It even includes songs you would want to listen to, like gazing at the light of a vacuum tube while chatting. That would actually be nice. If you were to sing a song like that for me, I would probably end up liking you a lot more than I already do. I'm sure you would. If Shirotaka was to sing a song like that for me, Starly, did you say something? No, nothing. I was just talking to myself. Anyway, singing love songs would naturally excite your feelings and enhance your song magic. Go ahead and sing as many love songs as you like during battle. I feel as though our opponents would get mad at me, and I think I was taunting them. Kind of scary. Yeah, there had to be a punchline somewhere after all that. Alright, last one! The DHW drone. What's this inside the glass tube? It looks like an aurora or oil spout on a puddle of water. Your descriptions are peculiar as usual, Yanasal. But now that you've said it, that's all there looks like to me, so perhaps you were right. Is this a recreation of that? Oh no, it's not. It may appear similar, but this is absolutely no relation to oil on water. I created this with the image of a droning sound. You know what that is? I've never heard of a droning sound before. Do you know what that is? Let's see, continuous low monotone sound? You know a surprising amount. You're right. Do you have knowledge of music? I'm a little surprised. Wow, that was short. Well, kind of an anticlimactic final item, but at the same time, most popular item specialty for creators, Charlotte Lovefortune, Earth as knows, bulky luggage, who's the sender, Painty Vanilla understands, Earth is. And that should be all the talk topics for the two main teams, as well as most of what's left for the side heroines. So, I'm going to go ahead and save. We're going to go that back to Delta and start knocking all the rest of those talk topics out. Yep, save file 1. And let's get to it.